Why Germany hates nuclear power, and did they make a huge mistake? Germany's relationship with nuclear power is quite a complicated one. In 2023, Germany officially and permanently closed its last 3 nuclear reactors, marking the end of a decades-long battle over nuclear power. So why did Germany hate nuclear power so much? Was it a rational choice, or was it a huge mistake? And what happens now? What does the future hold for nuclear power in Germany? Well, I'm Max from Nuclear Insider, and let's dive in. After World War II, Germany was in ruins. It had lost the war, its economy was shattered, and it was divided into West Germany and East Germany, 2 nations controlled by opposing Cold War superpowers. Meanwhile, nuclear energy was being hailed as the future of power and the next big thing in energy. With the US leading the charge, the UK and Soviet Union were quick to follow the American footsteps. And with West Germany eager to rebuild, they joined the race too. In the 1960s and 70s, Germany constructed its first nuclear reactors. And by the 80s, nuclear power was already supplying over 30% of Germany's electricity. Nuclear was fast, powerful, and unlike coal, it wasn't terrible for the air. But then a storm started brewing. During the 1970s, a global environmental movement was gaining momentum, and it was gaining momentum fast. People were protesting pollution, deforestation, and yes, nuclear power. But in Germany, the opposition was especially fierce. Protesters argued that radiation leaks, waste storage, and potential catastrophic accidents made nuclear power too dangerous for Germany. Protesters would clash with police, and some would even begin to block construction sites of new reactors, with some demonstrations even turning violent. One of the most famous protests happened in Wiel in 1975. Activists physically occupied a reactor site for months, and they won, ultimately leading to the government canceling the project. And this was just the beginning. On April 26, 1986, at 1:23 in the morning, the Chernobyl disaster occurred, and everything changed. A reactor had exploded in a power plant in Pripyat, Soviet Ukraine, releasing radiation into the atmosphere and spreading it all across Europe. And Germany was directly affected. Radioactive fallout drifted over the country, contaminating farmland, milk, and food supplies. People were panicking. Parents kept their kids inside, stores ran out of bottled water, and trust in nuclear energy had started to quickly collapse. The anti-nuclear movement exploded, doubling in size. And by the late 80s, the movement wasn't just made up of activists anymore. It had officially entered mainstream politics. In 1980, Germany's Green Party was officially founded, and anti-nuclear activism was at its core. By the late 90s, they were part of the ruling coalition and were pushing for a total and complete nuclear phase-out. In 2002, Germany officially decided to phase out nuclear power. No new plants would be built, and all existing ones would shut down by 2022. But then, things changed.
An urgent need for action. Germany's government is beginning 2 days of talks aimed at tackling the energy crisis that's driving up the cost of living.
Germany was experiencing an energy crisis, and in the 2000s, Germany realized it had a problem. If they shut down nuclear power, they'd have to rely more on coal, which is much worse for the climate. Coal emits around 40 to 70 times more carbon dioxide per unit of electricity generated when compared to nuclear power. But Angela Merkel, a trained physicist, understood the science behind nuclear power. And in 2010, her government reversed the phase-out, extending the life of nuclear power plants, and giving nuclear in Germany another chance at survival. Nuclear was officially back in business. Or were they? The time is 2:46 p.m., March 11th, 2011. One of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded strikes Japan, triggering a devastating tsunami causing catastrophic flooding at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, and ultimately leading to a nuclear meltdown.
Japan's nuclear disaster has had a rapid political impact in Germany, but most locals are not sad to see the old plant shut down.
Germans were panicking. Even though Fukushima's reactors were a different design and a different scenario than what had happened in Chernobyl, this hit too close to home, and the fear was too great. Within days of the disaster, Merkel reversed course again, and nuclear power would be completely phased out by 2023. With nuclear out of the picture, Germany bet everything on renewables. Solar and wind were their best friends. But without nuclear power, they had no choice but to burn more coal, and lots of it. Germany also became reliant on Russian gas, with Russia supplying around 40% of Germany's natural gas, which became a huge problem when Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. The invasion of Ukraine and the subsequent reduction in Russian energy exports exposed Germany's vulnerability thanks to its over-reliance on one source of energy, and eventually set off a major reshaping of European energy security. The debate over Germany's energy choice is far from settled. Did they make the right call, or did they jump the gun? Some argue that Germany's exit from nuclear has come at a steep cost, especially as the country scrambles to secure alternative energy sources. Meanwhile, countries like France and America have been thriving from nuclear power. France, for example, which has kept its nuclear plants running, has seen significant benefits, with around 70% of its electricity coming from nuclear power. France has some of the cheapest and cleanest electricity in Europe, and it's even exporting energy to neighboring countries. The contrast between France's energy security and Germany's ongoing struggles has raised some serious questions. And it's not just about traditional reactors anymore. New nuclear technologies are emerging every day, like small modular reactors, which are promised to be safer, more flexible, and more cost-effective than their predecessors. Germany has heavily invested in renewable energy, wind, solar, and hydropower, and their green energy future is certainly something to be proud of. But was it too soon to completely shut the door on nuclear when safer new alternatives like small modular reactors were still in development? Did Germany act too soon? Was their decision to phase out nuclear power a visionary leap toward a greener future, or did they undermine their own energy security at a critical moment? This was a super fun video to make. I really enjoyed doing research on this, so let me know if you liked the video down below, and make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.